really knew who you were going to fight. So it's kind of like a cool idea of you kind of get what you get. So sometimes you get someone that's a lot harder, and sometimes you get an easier fight, which you wouldn't really know until the end.
So you recently opened the gym out in Albuquerque. Can you tell me a little bit about the gym layout and some of the structure behind it?
Yeah, so we opened Kingdom Muay Thai in March of this year. So our original plan is we were doing a new build. We had to push our building plans back. It's being built as we speak, or moving in that process. The way that it's designed and the new build is going to be focused really on a lot of the architecture that you see in gyms out here in Thailand. So very open, big ring in the center. Probably have a ring, a cage, and a floor ring as well. Garage doors that are going to open so we can have the heat come in. It's one of the big perks of actually being out in Albuquerque is the dry heat, so we can really get the good training in. I've modeled it after all the gyms I've seen during my trips out here to kind of give it that feel.
And then you've come on a lot of trips out here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about some of your first trips and a little bit about your fighting experience out here in Thailand?
Yeah, so I started coming out in 2017 was my first trip. Since then, between 2017 and 2019, so pre-COVID, I did 5 trips, I want to say, for about a month and a half, 2 months-ish, and then would go back to New Mexico, and then come back and forth. I started with my first fight was at Taipei Stadium. I guess you'd say light competition, just getting used to it. Fought there 3 or 4 times and fought at Chiang Mai Boxing Stadium twice. So those have been my extent of so I don't have very much experience fighting here in Thailand. I've gone to a lot of stadiums and watched, which has been a privilege, and I've really enjoyed that. But yeah, so I've had 5 fights in Thailand, 1 pro in the US for Muay Thai. Yeah, so here we are.
And then can you tell me a little bit more about the experience of the fights up in Chiang Mai?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of value to it. So even though there wasn't for instance, how things are now with the weigh-in and this and that, it was a lot of just based on size, but you never really knew who you were going to fight. So it's kind of like a cool idea of you kind of get what you get. So sometimes you get someone that's a lot harder, and sometimes you get an easier fight, which you wouldn't really know until the end. So I mean, size and what someone looks like doesn't always define it, but it was a really good experience in terms of getting used to nerves of training yourself to be the best you can be, and like being disciplined in the training from day to day, and then just being your most prepared self. Because like I said, even if you have somebody who's on a poster with you, that's not always going to be the person you're going to fight. It could be someone bigger, it could be someone a little bit smaller. I mean, so one time I fought someone that was probably 30, 40 pounds bigger than me. But being able to just prepare yourself for whatever is going to come through the gate, like kind of gladiator style. So, and learning to deal with those nerves of just the unknown was great. Getting to meet so many different people who were pursuing Muay Thai from different countries was probably one of my favorite experiences. So I still have lifelong friends that I've met from both the States and all over, and being able to kind of follow their journeys, because they've all, I mean, some like Aaron and Maggie who went through Fairtex, and Willie who was in Max, like you get to kind of meet these different people at different levels and see their story through it. But for me, obviously I didn't get to perform at that level that they did, but it was good to be able to kind of see, especially, I mean, Aaron and Maggie and I trained together, but being able to train alongside them and see where they went from it, you know.
And then speaking of Aaron and Maggie plus Willie,
yeah.
You're moving some high-level athletes and trainers to Kingdom. Can you tell me a little bit about who's coming out and what that's like?
Yeah, so right now we have Willie Whipple, who's with, I mean, for me, I mean, I look at him kind of like a legend of the sport, just being an American, me being an American Muay Thai fighter. I loved watching him through his time in Max, and it's been great to have him. He's such like a humble guy, but he's got that, I love his style. He's very knowledgeable, so it's good to have him there, and kind of having such a vetted guy be part of Kingdom is huge. And with Aaron and Maggie, they both had tremendous paths in the sense of they've trained and fought across different stages in Thailand, whether it be with Fairtex fights or in the circuit in Chiang Mai. So having people who are very knowledgeable and more knowledgeable than myself itself, the sport of Muay Thai, has been great. One other person that we have is Mike Pierce. So he's a friend of Willie's, who I met because Willie had come out last year to do a seminar for some of my guys, and he's a very skilled athlete as well, lots of fight experience. So just really bringing the real thing to New Mexico has been kind of my goal, and it's been definitely life-changing for a lot of people, just because we haven't been exposed. I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people haven't been exposed to that level of Muay Thai. You know, there's a lot of kickboxing, Muay Thai-esque stuff, but now that we have these such strongly established people, it's just trying to focus on promoting them so people can really see the roads that they've taken and just kind of what Muay Thai holds. So that's been good.
And then you chose New Mexico. What are some of the perks? You talked a little bit off air about location. Can you tell me about why New Mexico is such a good area for Muay Thai?
Yeah, so I moved there to pursue fighting in general. It's a huge fight state. So MMA, like the Jacksons, has been a huge, obviously, staple in the MMA world. There's a lot of boxing. There's a lot of fighting in Albuquerque, first of all. So the crowd just loves the fighting culture. So that in of itself was huge. Also, just where we're located, we're so close to Denver, Arizona. Pretty much we're centrally located, and there's so many one-way flights to California, or excuse me, one-stop flights, non-stop flights to like California, Las Vegas. I mean, really, you name it, Texas. So it's a really easy and accessible place. Cost of living is very affordable. So there's a lot of benefits. I mean, also the weather's great. So summertime it gets super, super hot, but we have all 4 seasons, which is awesome. And being able to have that ability to train in super high heat and kind of get that same feel that I had when I was out here was huge as well. So being able to be in a state that is huge in the fight culture and can branch out to so many other states that we're just kind of smack in the middle of everything was a big part of choosing to open Kingdom in New Mexico.
Along with Kingdom, you've also recently become more involved with the WBC.
Yes.
You came out here maybe 2 weeks ago on a big trip. Can you tell me about the trip and what that was like?
Yeah, so I came out a couple weeks ago for the Kids Camp. It was the first Kids Camp that I know the WBC's put on, and that was one of the coolest experiences I've actually had. The last trip I did with WBC was for the Hua Hin Muay Thai Festival. So this was the first time came out with my wife and my daughter. So it was their first time out of the country. So it was a really great experience for them to, first of all, see Muay Thai like in Thailand, and also get to train and experience some of the things that I talk about and value a lot in my life. And it was really full of just different experiences, whether it was training, the food, meeting Sammy at Ute, and getting to screen print a shirt. That was awesome. But it was just a great overall experience and something different that I never have experienced in my trips to Thailand, because most of the time it's just me. So it was just something very special that WBC put together for the kids, and seeing how disciplined all those kids could be, like especially when they learned the whole Y crew, is just great, you know, and it just put a lot of things in perspective of how I want my daughter to grow in the sport, you know, and it made me very happy to come do.
And then lastly, you recently were appointed WBC Muay Thai USA rep in New Mexico. Can you tell me about some of your goals and your public duties?
Yeah, absolutely. So goals are going to as many gyms that we have and trying to work with them to develop Muay Thai programs for youth, for adults. So a lot of them already have some. So seeing if there's any way that I can help and use the resources that WBC has to help promote their gyms, their programs, so we can do events like the MDL and really the MTAC as well, and build this development system, which wasn't really around at all when I was fighting. It was just kind of, you fight at this level and you have your own I guess your journey's not planned. With the WBC, there's a very good system of growth from amateur all the way to pro. So being able to work with the different gyms is a huge responsibility of mine, making sure that we can work together regardless of me being a part of Kingdom, but as state director, making sure that we have kids programs so we have good competition for the kids, for adults, just for people who are training in Muay Thai. And then the other goal is working with the commission to get sanctioning as well as trained officials who really understand the sport of Muay Thai and how to judge and score it properly, so that the athletes we produce are able to go to tournaments, whether they be national or international, and that they can grow and go through that system. So those are the two main things right now, is really just working with the commission and getting everything set for the officials and the events that we're bringing, and also just helping with any gym that's looking to do a Muay Thai program and helping them develop. So as Kingdom grows, like, we want all their gyms to grow, and just kind of setting that example of how we can help is the best way, and build a community, I guess, in that way. I think it's been a really great thing to be working with the WBC, because I've gotten to meet so many different people and gym owners and kind of learn from them, and also connect the dots of the trainers like Aaron and Maggie, so people who I've met, and can bring them in to help kind of grow this bigger vision with the WBC of growing Muay Thai in the States. So I think that's other than being state director, it's almost like connecting those dots and those people and making those connections so that we can overall make this mission of having this revolution of Muay Thai just grow in the US. So I think that's a big thing too.